So Damsel, starring Millie Bobby Brown, just launched on Netflix, so let's check it out right now. Okay, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and spending time with me as we rant about movies and comics and television shows and board games and all sorts of pop culture. And I appreciate you spending time with me as we do that. So I am your host, Frank Zanka. I am an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. And if you're looking for anything that I've written, I have a bunch of stuff on Amazon. And if you're looking for anything that's signed, autographed, etc., we are launching our late pledge for my comic, which is Lords of L.A. It's a vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. You can get issues 1 and issues 2 on the late pledge. The description below has the link there, so if you want to jump in on that, I'm just getting it started now, so it probably still has $0 on it. But we were financed through Kickstarter already. I just have a few pages left, and we're pretty much done. It's 48 pages apiece. All right, so let's jump into Damsel. So I am a big fan of Millie Bobby Brown, even though some of the things that she's in are not that great. She is fun to watch, and it just goes to show you that she could take a bad script and actually make it watchable, which some actors can't do. So like the Enola Holmes stuff is okay. It's okay, but she's fun to watch. And she brings out the best, I think, in her co-stars as well. And now we have Damsel, which, again, I'm not sure why she did this film, but I don't know what the budget is either. But I can tell you that they tried to make it as contained as possible, except for a couple of scenes. So I don't know if that just meant that they just spent the money on the effects, but that's the story. Is that they kept it contained, meaning that it was in a limited number of locations, and on top of that, it was a minimal cast. So I'm going to do some mild spoilers in here, but I'm not going to go too deep into spoilers here. So don't think I'm ruining the film for you. I'm just going to give you a couple of things to point out as you're watching it. So you can say, yeah, that is weird. So they have a pretty decent cast in here. I wouldn't be surprised if this film, still came out to the $70 million range, with the amount of effects that they had and the locations that they had and all of the extras, the costume design, hair and makeup, all that stuff. Whenever you're doing a period piece like that, like this, none of that turns out cheap. And then I don't know how much was on a green screen / volume wall versus being in an actual cave. Did they build the cave out? I don't know. The castle, the interior, they probably did have a location. All the exteriors, I'm sure, are just CGI. So that's jumping into that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the film as well, and people's reaction to it at this point. So we had Millie Bobby Brown, of course, from not only Enola Holmes. I hate to say that. I have to say that she's also from Godzilla, and of course Stranger Things. I don't know why I always blanked on that. We also have Ray Winstone playing her dad. Of course, we had to go diverse, so we got Angela Bassett, and then we also have Robin Wright, who, of course, was in. This is not her first medieval fantasy thing, because she was in Princess Bride, and in fact, she was really young in that. She was probably in her 20s in that. But I compared her face between that in Princess Bride and this one and Wonder Woman and stuff like that. But anyway, her face is so much different between when she was in her 20s and what it is now. She's barely recognizable as herself. It's pretty weird. So the problem with the film, because is the film good? It's funny because I watched a couple of reviews after I watched it, and it's funny because some of the reviews say that uh, it's just it took forever to get going. And when I was watching it, especially the first half hour, I'm like, man, this is a slow burn. So apparently, I wasn't the only one. It's obviously a general consensus is that it drags in the beginning, and since it's self-contained, meaning she's acting against herself for the most part, where she's trying to. So the storyline is that the king of this particular kingdom um, ended up pissing off a dragon. We don't find out why for the most part, except that they attacked, the dragons. They didn't like that the dragon was running around. So I don't know if the dragon was really bothering them. But anyway, they went to bother it. And it didn't work out well. So now they owe the dragon their newborns or whatever, their daughters of every generation. And since they don't have daughters, they had to do something. So they keep bringing in these brides for the son. So the son has numerous brides. He has weddings upon weddings, this guy. He has like 3 weddings in a week. So anyway, they give money to these brides' families that are in financial trouble, and that's where Ray Winstone is that he basically sells his daughter. So, but she doesn't know it until they have this ceremony where she's basically tossed into the cave. And you know it's coming. I mean, you know exactly what the storyline is just purely from, even if you ever saw a trailer, you know exactly what's coming. So, why it took so long to get there when everybody knew what was going on. I mean, the entire audience knows exactly what the story is, and what the end result of this is. So it's not like you're trying to red herring anything. So just get it moving, get the story going. Let's get some action in it, and let's move on. And it just really doesn't do that. It meanders, and then it does some weird stuff, and then it does some convenient things, so stuff like that. But that's the basic storyline. And while so the majority of the film takes place with her inside the cave, getting burned to a crisp. So, one thing I want to bring up is that in fantasy, dragons are immune to whatever they excrete, right? So dragons are, fire-breathing dragons are immune to fire, just like in Game of Thrones, where What's-Her-Face was able to just walk through the flames. It's the same type of thing where they're immune to whatever they're doing. Like an ice dragon would be immune to ice, stuff like that. So, or else, they'd be killing themselves every time they released, fire or ice or electricity or whatever it was that they're exuding. So, let's keep that in mind for a second. And, when you watch it, you'll see. I'm not going to give it away. But that's, that's part of the problem with this. And then she conveniently finds worms that heal her. So there are these glowing worms, and they conveniently heal her. So I'm like, what? And then she runs into this wall where there's a whole bunch of people have, all the previous girls had carved their name in. Okay, this is a piece of chalk just sitting there so that they can write their name in like a scrapbook or like a yearbook in high school. Weird. Just the fact that she finds skulls and everything like that is enough. We don't need to see everybody's name. And then, of course, we see them all, and they're all diverse, of course. It's really weird. They made sure to plug every type of nationality and race in there. So I guess it was an equal opportunity dragon. But the problem is that the dragon thinks that they're all daughters of the same people, of the same family. This is one dumb dragon, man. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then on top, I really like the voice of the dragon. She's been in a pile of things. I think she was in Star Trek too for she played one of the admirals or whatever in Star Trek. But she has that very gruesome voice. It's like gravelly, so it really worked for the dragon. So again, it wasn't the acting. I had no problem with the acting. The problem was the writing and really the execution of it. Because then the other side, that was also convenient. There was a couple of scenes where I thought, okay, she was being pretty smart in what she was doing. At one point, she's trying to, scale this thing with shards of quartz and stuff like that. So she's trying to scale it, but they're all jagged edges and she falls. She would be scraping against all that shit, bounce off. What they had her do made little to no sense. So I just called bullshit on a lot of it. And, that comes down to the writing. Now, the guy who wrote this only has 3 credits, man. The guy has 3 credits. They're big credits, but they're only 3 credits, okay? Let's get back to him in a second. But the director has also only a few credits. I don't know if these people were like friends of Bobby Brown, but I can't understand how they got this big budget film to do when they have very little. Like he did, like his big claim to fame for directing is 28 Weeks Later, which is a sequel to 28 Days Later that nobody even really knows about this film. So he doesn't really have much. He did a thing called Intruders that had a pretty good cast with Clive Owen. I didn't even see that, but I think that's the biggest thing that he's done that I kind of recognize. Everything else is... And 28 Weeks Later, I think it was a flop, wasn't it? I don't know. It wasn't anything compared to the original. And then the writer did Fast 10. And this one, and I forgot what the other one was, but I was like, this is what this guy's done. And everybody, panned Fast 10 as one of the worst written ones there is. Wrath of the Titans, that was the other one. And everybody panned that thing too as a piece of garbage. That's it. Damsel, Fast 10, and Wrath of the Titans. That's all he's got, which are all badly written films. And I don't know how this guy's getting what he's getting. He's got a new Van Helsing film he's writing. Oh, Lord. So you had the writer and director that don't really have anything good to their name. But yet they got this, $70 million film with Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know, man. How do these guys do it? I don't know. It's not based on talent. Because again, the biggest problems with this is the writing and the directing. I think the costume designers did a good job. I think that the production designers did a good job. The set designers did a good job. But other than that, there's just nothing here. There's nothing really even to talk about aside from nice sets and decent acting, but you get nothing out of it. It's just very convenient. Oh, that was the other thing. So she finds a map, right, inside the cave of the whole cave on how to get out. How was there? What they should have done with that was that they should have made it that the prince wanted people to get out, and he was the one that made the map for them. But you never find out who made it, so we always assume, she assumes as well, meaning the Millie Bobby Brown's character, Elodie, that that somebody else, one of the other princesses, had made it. And how does that even work? What, they got out and then they go back in to then write it on? It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. That map should not be there. There's no reason that a map should be there. Because none of them lasted as long as her, which means none of them got as far as her. It didn't make any sense. And, if part of it was scratched in and part of it was charcoaled in, then you could say, okay, well, it was all the different girls working together, that they're all adding their own little piece. But the writer didn't think this out. He just threw all these things in for her to be able to get where she's going. And it's just too convenient, and it makes no sense. So you're just sitting there as an audience member going, what? What? I don't know, man. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. On a scale from 1 to 10, it's going to be a 4. It's going to be below average. It's a below average film, unfortunately. And the special effects are good, too. I can't even complain about special effects. It really came down to just the directing and the writing, and the writing a little bit more specifically. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you can, give me the thumbs up, give me the middle finger, whatever. If you can't subscribe, it's free. If you're not subscribed already, why the hell not? Like I said, I do a lot of movies, televisions, comics, etc. All pop culture surrounding. And remember, too, that Lords of LA is on Fund My Comic, the link below in the description. And also, if you're a fan of card games and a fan of classic monsters, then Mark Spears, who does comic covers for Spawn and Power Rangers and Spider-Man, etc., Vampirella, he has a whole group of classic monster artwork that's pretty amazing, and we're using that to make a deck builder area control game. I've been heavily play testing it. I just got back from Gamma, so it's all exciting stuff. All right, so look for that too once I launch in a few months. All right, and also check out some other videos as well. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.